Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the series. Welcome to one of the series of trainings organized by the Chartered Institute of Marine, Port and Terminal Management Professionals. The institute, as you know, or you may not have known, is a professional body specializing in training and developing the competencies and skills of marine terminal professionals, port operators, and transporters all over the world. I want to first of all appreciate the Institute for giving me this opportunity to be a resource person and to enrich the knowledge of others with my little knowledge and also improve my own on the other hand. Thank you very much. Our topic today is on oil and gas movement, storage and marine terminals management. That is the topic for today, and our training will center on the topic. First of all, we want to tell you that the oil and gas movement is particularly part of the oil and gas industry. And we know that the oil and gas industry is such a capital intensive industry where huge sums of dollars in millions, if not in billions, are pumped into. And in return, there is expected that such amount of capital intensive venture should also generate a high return on investment for the investors. We also want to let you know that the oil and gas industry, as it is, requires a geocentric management approach where different caliber of skills are required or sourced from different parts of the world, either on a joint venture basis or on a direct employment basis, especially in a developing country like Nigeria. We also want to tell you that the oil and gas sector is also very technical. Every equipment, the infrastructure, every facility is such a very technical, requires technical skills because of its technical nature. Having said that, what is the objective of our training? Why are we training ourselves? Why are we interested in training new people? Number one, we want all of you who have attended this program to gain insight of the oil and gas movement, storage operations, and how the various terminals are managed. Two, we also want to let you gain expertise on oil and gas value chains. You may be aware that when we say oil and gas, it does not just exist as a one sector. It has various value chains from upstream, midstream, down to the downstream. Various value chains are involved. Movement of gas, transportation of gas and oil, manufacturing of, which in the oil and gas is referred to as refining, from refining down to the final consumer. It follows a whole lot of value chains. So we want the training today is to enable us understand these various value chains. Then you know that every company that is involved in oil and gas and terminal management expects to make profit. So we expect that after our training today, we will be equipped with the knowledge and the expertise to increase the profitability of our firms. Then finally, we also want the essence of this training is also develop good terminal management skills, the various rules and regulations that are required for effective terminal management. When we are done with the training today, we expect that each participant will shout hooray that indeed we have gotten the necessary skills to manage and to continue in the oil and gas industry and in managing the various terminals. Our section 2 We will now proceed to the oil and gas industry. What is the oil and gas industry? You are already part of the oil and gas industry. Some of you are part of the oil and gas industry. Some of you are basically in terminals management. You will agree with us that you cannot do oil and gas, you cannot be operating oil and gas without proper terminal management skill. Almost everything that is done in the oil and gas industry boils down to terminal management. Terminal management, whether from the upstream, terminal management in the midstream, and terminal management in the downstream, down to the final consumers. Various terminals are required. So we will be looking at terminals in the various sectors. But first of all, what is oil and gas industry? The oil and gas industry is one which its activities involves finding, extracting, transporting, storing, and the distillation of crude oil and natural gas from the various reserves beneath the earth's surface. Crude oil, just like gold, is not found on the surface. Natural gas is also not found on the surface. So the oil and gas industry is that industry where the natural gas and crude oil is found beneath the earth. These processes generally will always lead to the discovery of crude oil. Crude oil, when it is discovered, or the natural gas, when it is discovered, is transported to a refinery. From the refinery, it is turned into a finished product ready for sale. So the oil and gas industry is one major and large industrial sector in the world in terms of monetary value, usually measured in dollars. This economic sector, it is estimated that for 2022, this economic sector will generate $5 trillion US. What a huge return. So if a sector is expected to generate 5 billion $5 trillion US, then you should know that that sector is a very competitive sector. And the process, and to be a player, and the process of generating a chunk of this investment, of this return, must be taken very seriously. That will take us to another thing we will need to talk about the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry is one industry that is made up of so many frameworks and benchmarks. Frameworks set by OPEC, frameworks set by local authorities. These benchmarks and frameworks serve as operating guidelines for transportation, for discovery of oil, transportation, the movement, and generation of income. And so it is also important that we divide the oil and gas sector. The oil and gas sector does not just consist of one. The oil and gas sector consists of three major subsectors: the upstream, the midstream, and the downstream. Most of you are already part of each of these streams. Some of you are already part of it. Some of you are part of the upstream. Some of you are part of the midstream. Some of you are part of the downstream. So the question now is, what does each of these streams represent to the layman? Now, the upstream, like you may be aware, deals with exploration and production. And so companies in the upstream subsector find reservoirs. They find oil and gas reservoirs beneath the earth. They drill these reservoirs of gas and oil. That is what the upstream basically is concerned with, drilling. Now, the midstream deals with transportation of these oil and gas products, crude oil and natural gas, that has been found from the wells. They are transported or moved to refineries. And so companies in the midstream are responsible for developing effective transportation modes, oil and gas movement modes, networks, and logistics to move this oil to move this natural gas from the reservoirs that have been identified by the upstream players. Then the downstream. The downstream deals with refining and the sale of finished oil and gas products. And companies in this sector are responsible for the construction and management of petrol depots, terminals, gas and filling stations. For this training, we want to basically look at the midstream. The focus of this training will be on the activities of the midstream and the downstream. Why? Because the midstream and the downstream is where movement of oil and gas to terminals, to ports, and to the final depots take place. And that is the essence of this training. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move over to our third section, which is the oil and gas movement proper. Please stay tuned, and we will be back. We will be right back.